Kai had never expected to be summoned before an alien dragon judge, especially not on a Tuesday. He shuffled nervously through the enormous halls of the floating space station, its walls shimmering with shifting colors and alien symbols. Dragons of all shapes and sizes floated above him, some with glowing scales, others with wings that spanned the width of the hall. Humans were rare here, small and fragile compared to these majestic beings, but Kai knew that brains and courage could sometimes make up for size. "Keep calm," he muttered to himself, adjusting the straps of his bag. Just a meeting. Nothing terrifying, probably. When he reached the grand courtroom, he froze for a moment. The chamber was immense, far bigger than any human building back on Earth. The floor seemed to glow with a soft, pulsing light, and floating platforms carried spectators above. At the center sat the alien dragon judge, massive and imposing, with scales that glittered like molten metal and eyes that seemed to see straight through him. The air hummed with energy, and every being in the room stared at him, whispering in alien tongues he didn't understand. Kai swallowed hard and stepped forward. "Hello," he said, his voice trembling slightly. Humans might be small, but they could speak up, even in the face of overwhelming authority. The judge's head tilted slowly, silver eyes narrowing. "Human." A deep, resonant voice rumbled through the chamber, vibrating the floor beneath Kai's feet. "You've been summoned for your actions." Kai blinked. "Actions?" he asked. Sure, actions. I might have, done something minor." He tried to smile, but it probably looked more like a grimace. A wave of laughter echoed through the courtroom. Not mean laughter, but the kind that made Kai's stomach twist nervously. The judge leaned forward slightly. "You speak little, yet your presence is curious. You seem hungry." Kai froze. "Hungry?" His stomach growled suddenly, louder than he expected. The sound echoed in the massive room. Everyone turned to look at him. "Great. Yes," he admitted quickly, blushing. Yes, I'm hungry." Humans were honest, sometimes too honest, but honesty had a strange power. In a room full of dragons, admitting a simple need could change the atmosphere. The judge blinked slowly, considering. Then he did something completely unexpected. He leaned back and let out a deep, rumbling laugh that shook the air. "You are honest. Few dare to speak such truths before me. Even fewer are human." Kai's jaw dropped. Did he just get away with admitting he was hungry? Humans had survived because they could be bold when others expected fear. His mind raced. Thank you, Your Honor," he said, unsure if that was a correct response. The judge's tail, enormous and glimmering, curled around the edge of his platform. "Interesting. You are clever, too. Perhaps your hunger will guide you, or test you." Kai blinked. "Test me? My stomach, or like a trial?" Humans often survived in tough situations by thinking fast and staying calm. He straightened his back. "I can handle a trial, or a snack, whichever is better." A few dragons whispered to one another, their scales reflecting the courtroom lights. The tension was thick, but Kai felt an odd spark of confidence. Humans might be small, but courage and ingenuity often turn unlikely situations into advantages. His honesty had surprised the judge. That could give him a chance to do more than just survive. He might even impress these alien dragons. The judge's eyes gleamed. "Hunger is not mere weakness. It is clarity. You will see that soon. Prepare yourself, human. The challenge begins now." Kai swallowed again, feeling his heart race. Hunger was never a good thing in a human courtroom, or anywhere. But in a galactic dragon court, it could be dangerous, or it could be the opening he needed. He had survived strange worlds before, strange creatures and impossible odds. This was no different. He glanced around. Spectators floated above, curious and tense, watching a human who dared admit hunger to a dragon judge. Xylo, a small alien pet from the gallery, squeaked in amusement. Humans could read emotions, body language, and intention in ways many alien species could not. That might be his secret weapon. Kai took a deep breath and stepped forward. "All right," he said, trying to sound confident. "I'm ready. Hungry, yes, but also ready for anything you throw at me." The judge leaned forward, wings unfurling slightly, scales glinting. Boldness and honesty, two rare traits among humans. You intrigue me. Let the audience watch closely. Let the trial begin. Kai's stomach growled again, louder this time, and he couldn't help but chuckle nervously. Honesty had gotten him this far. Humans might not be the strongest or the largest, but courage, cleverness, and adaptability could turn the smallest human into a force even dragons had to respect. The courtroom fell silent as the judge's glowing eyes fixed on Kai. Everyone waited, and Kai smiled, feeling the strange thrill of being the underdog in a room full of dragons. Humans might be underestimated, but that was exactly why they could do the unexpected. This was only the beginning. Kai's stomach rumbled again, and he wished it would stay quiet. The courtroom, massive and glowing, was completely silent. Hundreds of alien dragons and officials floated above, watching him carefully. The alien dragon judge leaned forward on his enormous platform, wings tucked neatly, but scales glittering like molten metal. "You declare hunger before me," the judge said slowly. His deep, resonant voice vibrated through the chamber. Most beings would show fear, respect, or submission. You show honesty. Explain yourself. Kai swallowed and tried to sound calm. Well, sir, His stomach growled again, louder this time. He gave a nervous laugh. "I just haven't eaten yet today. Humans need food. It helps us think. And honesty seemed better than pretending." A ripple of whispers ran through the audience. Dragons tilted their massive heads, their glowing eyes curious. Kai realized that being straightforward had drawn attention. Humans were unusual in this galaxy. Many species had weakness or tried to act superior, but honesty was rare. The judge's eyes narrowed slightly, but his body relaxed. "You are bold, human. Few dare speak personal need in my presence. Most would bow, submit, or remain silent." Kai swallowed nervously. "I guess humans are sometimes like that. We survive by being honest when it matters. And clever, too. Humans had survived harsh worlds, wild creatures, and galactic bureaucracy because they could be clever, adaptable, and fast thinkers." The judge tilted his massive head, considering him. Clever, perhaps, but honesty alone is insufficient. Hunger may be a test, or a weakness to exploit. You will find out. Kai's eyes widened. A test? Humans had a way of handling tests, especially unexpected ones. Observing first, acting second. That was the key. "I can handle tests," he said cautiously. "Even hungry, I can manage." A low, rumbling chuckle echoed through the chamber. It vibrated the floor and walls. The judge's wings shifted slightly. "Your honesty amuses me, yet also intrigues me. You are not like others. You admit need openly, yet your posture suggests confidence. Few humans possess this combination." Kai felt a little proud. Humans were small and underestimated, but courage and cleverness often turned unlikely situations into opportunities. He straightened his back and tried to match the judge's intense gaze, even though he felt like a mouse standing before a lion. "You do not fear me," the judge said, "nor do you lie. Yet your species is weak, small, and fragile compared to mine. Why should I spare you, human?" Kai thought quickly. Humans had survived not by size or power, but by ingenuity, wit, and courage. Because humans can adapt, think fast, and solve problems in ways others can't, he said. Even small humans can do big things if we use our brains. The courtroom fell silent again. The judge's massive eyes glimmered. A few dragons whispered in low tones, astonished by the human's audacity. Most beings would have cowered or apologized profusely. Kai's combination of honesty, confidence, and cleverness had surprised everyone. The judge leaned back, a rumbling sound like distant thunder escaping his throat. Interesting. Hunger, used honestly, becomes strength. You are the first human I have seen admit weakness openly, yet display courage. This may be useful. Kai blinked. Useful? Humans were not the strongest species, but brains, creativity, and courage often turn them into unexpected problem solvers. Thank you, Your Honor, he said, unsure if "Thank you," was the right response in a dragon courtroom. The judge's tail, massive and glittering, tapped slowly against the floor. Curiosity arises. Hunger can be transformed into challenge. You will be tested. Human, how you handle this will determine your value. Kai felt a spark of excitement despite his nerves. Humans thrived in unusual situations. Chaos, pressure, and unexpected events often brought out their best abilities. And this, being tested by a dragon judge, was exactly the kind of challenge where humans could shine. The judge's glowing eyes swept the courtroom. All witnesses, observe human behavior. See how small creatures can survive through cleverness and courage. Let the trial begin. Kai's stomach growled again. He rubbed it discreetly, hoping no one would notice. The judge's next words made him freeze, slightly. Human, you may choose your approach. Use your honesty, your wit, your hunger, or fail. The choice is yours. Kai thought quickly. Humans survive by acting fast, observing carefully, and using creativity in critical moments. I'll use honesty first, he said cautiously, then logic and observation. That's how humans solve problems. The judge's glowing eyes narrowed, and a faint rumble passed through the hall. Bold, curious, unusual. Perhaps this human will endure. Perhaps he let the words trail off, leaving Kai and the entire courtroom on edge. Kai took a deep breath. Being human meant sometimes being underestimated, sometimes small, sometimes hungry, but also meant being clever, brave, and adaptable. Whatever the judge threw at him next, he knew humans could handle it in a way that no one expected. He straightened, ready to face the challenge. His stomach grumbled again, but this time he smiled. Hunger was not weakness. It could be strength if used wisely. And humans had a way of turning even the strangest weaknesses into opportunities. The alien dragon judge leaned forward, wings shifting slightly. Prepare yourself, human. Your test is about to begin. Kai's heart raced. This was it. The moment to show that humans, though small and underestimated, could be extraordinary in ways even dragons could not predict. Kai's stomach growled again, louder this time. The alien dragon judge's massive eyes glowed, and the courtroom fell silent. Hundreds of dragons and alien officials floated above, waiting. Kai knew this was the moment. His honesty about being hungry had caught the judge's attention, and now it was about to become a challenge. The judge's tail tapped the floor, sending small vibrations through the room. Human, he rumbled, his voice echoing. Your hunger will become your test. Not strength, not size, but hunger, wit, and courage. You must complete the task before you. Kai blinked. Task based on hunger? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. His human brain started working fast. Hunger could be a weakness or a tool. Humans had survived tough worlds before, using clever thinking when brute force failed. Yes, the judge said, eyes narrowing. A series of trials awaits. You must prove your resourcefulness through actions and thought. Failure has consequences. Kai swallowed hard. Humans were rarely the strongest species, but they were clever, adaptable, and quick thinkers. He had faced tricky situations before, and this, galactic courtroom or not, was no different. I'm ready, he said, surprising himself with his own confidence. Hungry, yes, but ready. The judge nodded slowly. With a massive sweep of his claws, he activated a glowing platform in the center of the courtroom. On it appeared a strange assortment of alien foods, glowing fruits, floating orbs, and bubbling liquids Kai had never seen before. Your first task, the judge said, is to identify and consume what is safe. Only then may you proceed. Kai stared at the foods. Some floated lazily, others hovered unpredictably. He had no idea which were edible or poisonous. Most species in the galaxy would panic. Humans? Humans observed carefully first, then acted. He crouched slightly, examining the movement and glow of each item. Floating blue or maybe too unstable, he muttered. Glowing red fruit, probably safe. Bubbly liquid, maybe not. Observation first, then action. That was human strategy. With care, Kai picked a small, glowing red fruit. His hand trembled slightly, but he remembered how humans survived by taking calculated risks. He took a bite. The flavor was sweet, energizing, safe. His confidence grew. Humans could think quickly, adapt, and use intelligence where others relied on instinct or brute force. The judge's eyes gleamed. Correct choice. Observe, analyze, and decide. That is human strength. Kai smiled, feeling his courage grow. Thank you, Your Honor, he said quietly. Humans often surprised other species because they relied on brains and observation more than size. The next stage began. Panels on the walls shifted, opening small portals. From each portal, floating challenges appeared, some harmless, some tricky, some potentially dangerous. The judge's tail flicked slowly. Navigate the room. Gather sustenance. Solve puzzles. Avoid hazards. Your hunger will guide you or betray you. Kai's mind raced. Humans thrived under pressure. Improvisation, quick thinking, and adaptability were their greatest weapons. He moved carefully, dodging hovering spikes and floating energy traps. Each time he hesitated, he analyzed the patterns, gravity shifts, timing of obstacles, and the movement of the floating food. Humans could adapt to patterns faster than almost any alien species. Xylo, a small alien creature that had snuck into the courtroom, squeaked and hovered beside him. Kai grinned. Humans often use small allies to their advantage. "All right, little buddy, let's do this together," he whispered. Xylo scuttled ahead, nudging a floating orb into place and helping Kai navigate a tricky sequence of floating energy fields. The audience of dragons murmured in surprise. Humans rarely had the dexterity or instinct to interact with alien environments so quickly. Yet Kai's combination of observation, quick thinking, and small alliances made him succeed where others might fail. The judge leaned forward, scales glittering. "Your choices are unexpected. You do not rely on instinct alone. You think, adapt, and cooperate. That is human strength." Kai's stomach grumbled again, reminding him of his original honesty. Hunger had started as a weakness, but he had turned it into a tool, a motivator, and a focus. Humans often turn disadvantages into advantages, and this challenge was no exception. The final stage of the hunger challenge appeared. A glowing platform rose in the center, presenting a puzzle-like structure of floating foods. Some were edible, some explosive, some unstable. Kai analyzed, observing the patterns carefully. Then he acted with speed and precision, picking the safe items and arranging them in order. Humans excelled at creative problem-solving, and this combination of intelligence and courage allowed him to succeed. The judge's massive wings shifted, creating a low rumble. "Impressive. Human. You have turned hunger into resourcefulness. Few beings could survive this trial with so little harm. You demonstrate that small size does not equal weakness." Kai exhaled, smiling despite the pressure. Humans might be small, but brains, courage, and creativity often made them remarkable, even in a room full of dragons. The courtroom audience buzzed with whispers. Humans were underestimated. Yet this one had succeeded in a challenge that tested wit, courage, and honesty. Kai realized that honesty, admitting his hunger, had opened the door to opportunity. Many aliens would have lied, hidden weakness, or frozen in fear. Humans survive by being clever, adaptable, and bold. The judge leaned back, massive claws resting on the platform. "Human, you have passed the hunger challenge. You show honesty, ingenuity, and courage. These qualities are rare and valuable. Prepare yourself for what comes next." Kai's stomach growled again, and he laughed softly. Hunger had led to chaos, tension, and a trial, but also to recognition. Humans were small, often underestimated, but capable of extraordinary things when they used their minds and courage. Kai straightened. Whatever came next, he knew humans could face it with honesty, wit, and adaptability. Hunger had tested him, and humans had passed. Kai wiped sweat from his forehead and looked around the grand courtroom. The hunger challenge had tested his honesty, courage, and observation skills, but the alien dragon judge wasn't done yet. The massive dragon's glowing eyes watched him carefully, wings shifting like molten metal. "Human," the judge rumbled, "your resourcefulness is noted, but survival in this galaxy requires more than observation. It requires ingenuity. Show me your creativity." Kai took a deep breath. Humans were small compared to dragons, but brains and adaptability often gave them an edge. Creativity, he muttered. His mind raced. Humans had survived harsh worlds and impossible odds because they could think quickly and improvise. He just needed to act smart and fast. Suddenly, the courtroom shifted. Panels in the walls slid open, revealing small machines that hummed and buzzed. Some emitted light beams, others pulsed with energy. The judge's tail tapped the floor like a drum, signaling the start of the next trial. Navigate the hazards, human. Prove your ingenuity. Kai's eyes scanned the room. Floating platforms, spinning lights, and unpredictable energy fields blocked the path. No human had ever faced a challenge like this in the history of the Galactic Court. Most would panic, freeze, or run away. Humans? Humans analyzed, adapted, and solved problems. He noticed a pattern. The energy beams pulsed rhythmically, and some platforms wobbled in predictable sequences. If I time it right, he whispered, observing first, acting second. That was a human advantage. He tested a small step, then another, calculating speed and timing carefully. A floating orb zoomed toward him suddenly. Most aliens would have been struck or frozen in fear. Kai ducked, grabbing a nearby lever that triggered a counterweight, sending the orb safely back into a holding field. Humans often use tools and quick thinking to turn threats into advantages. The judge leaned forward, claws resting on the platform, glowing eyes watching every move. Interesting. You do not rely solely on speed or strength. You create solutions. Kai grinned. He spotted a small malfunctioning panel hovering in midair, sparking dangerously. Most beings would avoid it, but humans could improvise. He grabbed a piece of alien wiring and a floating metal rod nearby, connecting them carefully to redirect the energy safely into a conduit. Sparks flew, but the hazard neutralized. Humans might be small, but intelligence often surpassed raw power. Next, he encountered a narrow bridge of shifting energy. One misstep could send him tumbling into a glowing pit below. He studied the rhythm of the bridge, timing each step with the energy pulse. Xylo, the tiny alien pet from before, squeaked and hovered near him. Humans had an advantage with allies, too. They could think creatively about using others. Kai guided Xylo to trigger a small stabilizing mechanism on the bridge, creating a safe path. The judge's massive wings shifted slowly. Resourceful. Cooperative. You adapt well. Few species can navigate hazards so effectively. Kai moved forward, adrenaline pumping. Floating orbs of energy zipped around him, some changing direction unpredictably. Humans excelled at pattern recognition, improvisation, and creative solutions. He noticed that if he used the pulsing energy to propel himself onto higher platforms, he could avoid the faster orbs altogether. Calculated risk and ingenuity, human traits. As he leapt, he realized another challenge, a small puzzle in front of him. Alien symbols glowed on a console, floating above a pit of shimmering energy. Solving it incorrectly would activate traps. Humans might not have natural powers, but they could observe, deduce, and apply logic quickly. Kai's eyes darted between symbols, recognizing patterns. Red-orange triangle. Matches sequence on the floor. Yes, he whispered. He touched the symbols in order. The console beeped, platform stabilized, and the energy pit quieted. The judge's eyes narrowed slightly. Clever. Humans are unpredictable. You use observation, logic, and risk to survive. Kai didn't stop. The final section of the challenge had a rotating maze of floating panels and energy streams. He could go straight and risk the hazards, or think creatively. He paused, studied the room, and realized he could use the judge's own energy beams as stepping points. Timing them perfectly, he leapt from beam to beam, using the hazardous energy to his advantage. The courtroom gasped. Humans were small, but no one expected such ingenuity. The judge's deep voice rumbled. Remarkable. You transform weakness into advantage. Hunger, size, and lack of strength. None of these prevent you from solving problems. This is human ingenuity. Kai landed safely on the final platform, chest heaving, sweat dripping down his face. Xylo chirped and hovered beside him. The audience of dragons and aliens buzzed in excitement. Humans were underestimated, often overlooked. But this one human had turned a dangerous challenge into a display of cleverness and courage. The judge leaned back, eyes glowing softly. Human, you are unusual, small in size, yet vast in intellect and creativity. You have survived. You have shown that even the weakest can achieve greatness when intelligence and courage are applied. Kai straightened, trying to look humble but feeling a surge of pride. Humans might not have alien strength or scale, but brains, observation, quick thinking, and creativity often allowed them to succeed in ways no other species could. Thank you, Your Honor, he said. I just do what humans do. We survive, we adapt, and sometimes we use our brains instead of our strength. The judge's massive wings shifted, creating a low rumble that reverberated through the chamber. Indeed, human, your ingenuity is noted. Few beings could turn hunger and pressure into success. You have earned respect. Kai smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. Humans were small, underestimated, and often overlooked, but they could do extraordinary things. Honesty, observation, improvisation, and courage had carried him through a challenge that would have defeated many. He looked at Xylo and whispered, Humans can handle anything, even an alien dragon judge. The judge's eyes glimmered. Prepare yourself, human. One final step remains before your recognition is complete. Kai took a deep breath. Hunger had sparked the challenge, and human ingenuity had turned it into victory. Whatever came next, he knew humans had a way of surviving and excelling where others failed. Kai stood on the final platform, his chest heaving and his palms sweaty. The hunger challenge and the ingenuity trial had pushed him to his limits. Sweat dripped down his forehead, and his stomach grumbled again, a reminder of the human need that had started all this chaos. But now, facing the alien dragon judge, he felt a strange mix of relief and pride. Humans were small and underestimated, but brains, courage, and honesty had carried him farther than anyone had expected. The judge's massive eyes glowed like molten silver as he leaned forward. His wings stretched wide, casting shadows over the audience of dragons and alien officials floating in the courtroom. Human, he rumbled, his voice echoing like distant thunder. You have completed the trials. Hunger, challenge, danger, you have faced them all. Kai nodded, trying to look calm. Humans had survived impossible worlds by staying calm under pressure, even when surrounded by danger. Thank you, Your Honor, he said. I just did what humans do. We adapt, observe, and keep going. The judge's tail tapped slowly on the platform. You are unlike any human I have observed. Small, weak, and yet you endure. You do not rely on strength, scale, or intimidation. Instead, you use intelligence, courage, and honesty. Kai's stomach growled again, and he gave a nervous laugh. Honesty helps sometimes, he said. Humans survive by being smart and sometimes bold enough to speak the truth, even when it's scary. The courtroom murmured with whispers. Other dragons and alien species floated closer, fascinated by this small human who had dared to speak openly to the judge and succeed in impossible trials. Many had assumed humans were too fragile or weak to survive such challenges. Kai was proving them wrong. The judge's massive claws rested on the platform, and he tilted his head. Few beings could navigate hunger, danger, and chaos with success. You have done so. You are remarkable. Kai felt a rush of pride. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy. They lacked size, natural strength, or alien powers, but their brains, courage, and adaptability allowed them to achieve the unexpected. He straightened his back. Thank you, Your Honor. Humans are small, yes, but we find ways to survive and, sometimes, to impress dragons. A low, rumbling laugh echoed through the courtroom. The judge's wings shifted, sending shimmering light across the chamber. Indeed, human, you have earned respect, not only from me, but from all who witness your actions today. Your species may be underestimated, but intelligence, creativity, and bravery make you valuable. Kai looked around. The dragons in the audience leaned slightly forward, their glowing eyes watching him with new interest. Even the alien officials seemed impressed. Humans were unusual, unpredictable, small, yet capable of remarkable feats. He had turned honesty and hunger into opportunity, risk into strategy, and chaos into order. The judge's tail curled slightly around the platform. As recognition for your success, human, you will be granted the title of Observer of the Court. You may witness future trials, learn from them, and advise when needed. Your ingenuity is worthy. Kai's eyes widened. Me? Really? Humans rarely expected such rewards from being so powerful. I thank you, Your Honor. I'll do my best. The judge's eyes softened, and he gave a slow, approving nod. Your best has already proven extraordinary. Humans are clever, adaptable, and bold. These traits cannot be ignored. You have shown that even the smallest, hungriest creature can change the course of events in ways no one expects. Kai's stomach growled again, and he laughed softly. Hunger had started this entire journey, but now it had led to recognition, respect, and even a title among dragons. Humans might be underestimated, but they had a way of turning small weaknesses into remarkable strengths. Human ingenuity, courage, and honesty, the judge continued, are lessons to all species. You have reminded us that size, strength, or natural power are not the only measures of value. Intelligence, adaptability, and boldness matter as much, sometimes more. Kai felt his heart swell with pride. Humans were often overlooked, fragile, and underestimated, but they survived and thrived through wit, observation, and clever thinking. Today, he had shown that being human could mean extraordinary achievement, even in a court full of dragons. He looked down at Xylo, the small alien pet who had followed him through the trials. We did it, little buddy, he whispered. Humans often work with allies, no matter how small, to succeed. Together, they had navigated impossible challenges and earned respect from beings far stronger than themselves. The judge leaned back, massive wings folding elegantly. Human, you have demonstrated qualities rare in all the galaxy. Courage, honesty, creativity, adaptability. You are worthy of recognition and respect. Your species may be underestimated, but you are proof of human potential. Kai smiled, a mix of relief, pride, and excitement flooding through him. Hunger had led to honesty, honesty had led to opportunity, and opportunity had led to respect. Humans might not have alien strength or magical powers, but brains, courage, and adaptability often allowed them to do the unexpected. Thank you, Your Honor, he said again, more confidently this time. Humans will continue to learn, adapt, and surprise. The dragons in the courtroom whisper among themselves, impressed by the small human who had dared to speak the truth, face impossible challenges, and succeed where most beings would have failed. Kai realized that humans were often underestimated, but underestimated humans were unpredictable, clever, and capable of greatness. The judge's glowing eyes swept over the courtroom one last time. Remember this, all who witness. Strength and size are not everything. Ingenuity, courage, and honesty, these can shift the balance of power in ways no one expects. Human, you have proven this today. Kai laughed softly, rubbing his stomach. Hunger had brought him to the courtroom, challenged him in impossible ways, and led him to victory and recognition. Humans were small, clever, and courageous, and sometimes that was more than enough to shock a room full of dragons. As he stepped down from the platform, Kai felt a new sense of confidence. Humans could survive and thrive anywhere, even among beings far stronger or more powerful. He had earned respect, proven human ingenuity, and learned that honesty and courage could open doors no one expected. Today, Kai had not only survived, the human had triumphed, and in doing so, reminded everyone in the galactic courtroom that humans, though small, could be extraordinary.